Dave back with you today with one of the longest, skinniest, fastest kayaks I've ever tested. Wait, what? Hey guys, I'm usually known for high-end racing kayaks. I especially enjoy Westside Boat Shop kayaks for speed and performance. I'm an amateur kayak racer, so I usually get in the really fast boats. Today, I'm going to the other end of the kayak spectrum. This is an inflatable kayak. It's the K5 QuikPak or QuikPak K5. This is an inflatable kayak. This cost me a little bit over $100 off of Amazon. This is an inflatable kayak that fits into a backpack. All right, so you can actually pack this in to some remote places where you really wouldn't want to carry a regular kayak. This is really for beginners who want to get into the sport. You don't want a great piece of equipment, but it's a great way to test out if you like the sport, if you like kayaking, and from here you can progress on up into the sport. For around $100, you're not putting a whole lot of money at risk if you go out a few times and decide you hate it. And you could probably sell this for about what you paid for it. So let's see what comes out of the pack here. I'll do an unboxing right now and splice that in. All right, so here we are with the Sevylor K5 kayak. It's an inflatable kayak. I just want to show you what comes out of the box. I have no idea, but this is supposed to be something that will be in a self-contained backpack with a pump. That's the air pump. This is going to be the paddle, and this is going to be a really cheap paddle in several segments. I will show you what that is, but I do not intend on using it. And then the main bit of kit here is going to be the kayak in this backpack, so you can pack this in and out from wherever you're going. Sevylor QuikPak. All right, it's going to be reasonable to put on my back, and the pump, yeah, I don't know if that's going to fit onto this pack somewhere. I'm sure it will, but that's what you get: the kayak inside the backpack, the paddle, the pump. We'll take it outside tomorrow and pump it up and go for our first maiden voyage, and I will give you my thoughts and honest opinions. But it comes with a paddle that is in several sections. Okay, a lot of collars. It's a cheap aluminum paddle. Blades, it looks like they're riveted into the shaft, aluminum. This is probably got to go in the middle somehow. Cheap, but it does come with a paddle. I don't plan on using that. It comes with an inflation pump right here, and this will fill up the various chambers inside the kayak to get you on the water. So you have the pump and the hose. All right, this is how you'll fill this kayak. Now let me unpack this guy. There's a buckle here we need to undo. There's a buckle on the bottom, and the guts should slide out. There's probably one more here. Let me figure this out. All right, so there's one more thing here. This outside of the pack will unzip this back cover. This is also going to act as a spray skirt once this kayak is up and inflated. So let's zip that off. All right, this will be your deck and your spray skirt. And here is your main kayak inside. We'll unbuckle that. This will all pop out. Let me unfold this and inflate it. I think this pack will act as a seat somehow. Let me get this inflated and see how this thing does. But this will unroll. All right. And there you have it. This is what your kayak will look like once you flatten it out and get it out of the box and out of the pack. Now I'm going to inflate it. And they say to start inflating it from the inner floor chambers working outwards. So there's actually different sets of chambers. There are your floor chambers, then some side chambers, and then the outside chambers. So let me get that going. So to get to these valves, you pull the cap off and then pull the stem up, and the hose here, one end will attach onto your pump. So you'll push that in and twist to lock it. All right, and then this end will go into this valve with one of these fittings, and you start pumping. Okay, so I have this all put together, pumped up. I'm not sure I have the seat 100% correct, but it's got some straps that go onto the side that give you some back support. I'll show you the hatch in a minute. The outer side of that backpack, as I said, will zip in as a spray skirt, which is kind of neat. There's a zipper on the inside here. We're just gonna zip that right in. So you've got a spray skirt with some deck bungees, and this is the boat. I think it looks pretty decent for a $100 inflatable kayak. Let's flip it over, see what it looks like. Looks pretty durable. It's got a skeg here built in, and it's got some chambers on the outside. So let's go give it a spin and see what this thing does on the water. Okay, so on the back of this thing, we have a little hatch here, and it looks pretty spacious. You could put in, I would not condone alcoholic beverages on the water, but this would fit, you know, a sandwich and some nice sparkling waters in here. And, you know, the fact that it's inflatable and recessed makes it kind of like a little cooler back here. So I like that. Here's the flap you would lift to get to that valve. This is what the boat looks like from the back. A pretty sharp looking boat. Let's go give it a spin. Let me know when you're rolling and I'll get in. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get into the kayak. I might be the first person to ever paddle an inflatable kayak with a wing paddle. If you don't know what a wing paddle is, look into. These are used by racers and people who want to get maximum efficiency from their stroke. Let's go check this bad boy out. Alright, so it's very comfortable. Let me fix the backrest here. Backrest gives you plenty of support, and that's actually adjustable with these straps. So that will get me in a more upright position. My feet are actually in a little well, and I got the body cam here. I'll show you that. Let's go take some strokes and see what we think about this guy. It tracks, I mean, it tracks, let's say that. It tracks a little bit. It doesn't want to spin, and that's because of that skeg in there. So I'm not doing a lot of control paddling to keep it in a straight line, which is good. A lot of times beginners get put off by a boat that spins a lot and they can't control it, and they think all boats are that way and they give up on the sport. That's not the way it should be. It should only be a really spinny boat if you're an advanced kind of whitewater kayaker, because you want that thing to spin and be maneuverable. Most beginners and intermediate paddlers just want a boat that will go in a straight line on its own, and this one does a fairly good job. All right, so one piece of advice I already have for beginners and possibly everyone. It's not the easiest boat to get into when the spray skirt is on it, or the deck. So I highly recommend get in the boat first with this big open cockpit, and then if you want this skirt, put it on after you're in the boat. All right, it'll just zip in. All right, so that'll keep water from splashing into the boat. It'll keep you a little bit drier. It'll protect you from the sun. And I highly recommend you do this after you're in the boat. Otherwise, this little opening is just going to be way too small to try to jimmy in and out of. So there's one tip about this boat already. Another tip I'm already feeling right now. I'm extremely warm once this skirt went on. So this is going to be a pretty decent cold weather boat. And that's a little bit of a paradox, because if you're a beginner, you really shouldn't be paddling in cold weather. But it is very, very toasty warm. I can't imagine using this deck in the summertime when it's hot out. It would just get way too hot in here. So I envision probably paddling with this, not with the cover on most of the time. All right, so there you have it, the QuikPak K5. Is this the best kayak in the world? Absolutely not, no. But it's better than a pool toy. It's pretty rugged and durable on the bottom. Looks like it'll take some abuse. Of course, you don't want to hit rocks or anything with it. You want to use this on pretty much calm lakes, and you don't really want to take it whitewater rafting or anything like that. But for a basic functional kayak on a budget, I would say this is a pretty good choice. Now, I'm fortunate. I have a kayaking blog and YouTube channel, so I get to test a lot of gear and kayaks. And this one I actually bought with my own money, and that means it's the money from the ad revenue generated from my YouTube channel. So I appreciate you for that. That can only happen if you interact and engage with this channel in some way. Share this video, like it, leave a comment. But I like to review this stuff and anything related to kayaking or health or fitness. So I thank you for tuning in today. I hope this was helpful to you today in making your decision on what kayak to buy. For 120 bucks or less, I'd say check this one out. If you're just getting into the sport, it's a pretty good option. Deflating this kayak is pretty easy. You just pull the plugs and it's flattening. They recommend you make sure it is completely dry before you put it back into the pack, because you don't want mold or mildew or anything like that. So I'm going to let this hang out outside for a little while, maybe in the inside, to make sure it's good and dry. One of the amazing reasons I bought this kayak, not only for this review, but I hate reviewing things and then trashing them or giving them away, which I end up doing with a lot of smartwatch reviews. I usually give them to people who will use them and like them. But I travel a fair amount, and I've always thought it would be nice to have a kayak with me on my road trip. So after work in the evenings, I can hit some local river or lake no matter where I am. And it's a liability traveling with a kayak on the top of the car. You know, you sometimes have to find somebody who'll let you chain it somewhere at a hotel. It's just more trouble than it's worth. This guy, I can just put in a backpack, throw it in the car with me, do my road trip. And if I want a kayak handy, I can go do some light kayaking while on the road. And it's not a liability. I can just leave it in the car or take it into the hotel room with me. So that's how I envision using this kayak. And maybe in future years, I'll check in again and let you know how it's going. But so far, I give this a thumbs up. All right, take care. Love the sport. Take what it has to give you and pay it forward.
When you want an extraordinary racing kayak made in the finest American tradition, or maybe just own a piece of American kayaking history, you want a West Side Boat Shop kayak, now available from davethekayaker.com. West Side Boat Shop kayaks. The tradition continues.